Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to a new day. It is Thursday afternoon, about 12:30, and we are having lunch right now. I made some BLTs, and I also just sliced up one cucumber, and we're just going to dip it in some dressing. I'm going to use this avocado ranch, so we'll have that with our lunch. And yeah, it's cloudy outside. It's supposed to start raining soon. And I'm just toasting up my bread, and I'll be making my sandwich. Alrighty. So tonight for supper, we'll just be having the leftover Polish sausage. Now that sauerkraut was of a different kind than I usually get them. I didn't notice on the jar it said Polish style. So I usually get them the same brand, Frank's, but there's the regular and then there's the Polish style, and I ended up getting the Polish style, which he does not think tastes good. He didn't mind the sausages too much. But yeah, he wasn't thrilled with the sauerkraut. But we'll be having that left over tonight. So supper's already made. And I actually made earlier today angel food cake from the box. It's a box mix. And right now it's upside down cooling off on a glass jar. And in just a little bit, I will be making a homemade fluffy frosting for it. So stay tuned for that. Oops. Ooh. Tearing apart my sandwich. Alright, here is lunch, BLTs, some cucumber and avocado ranch dressing. So stay tuned for when I make the fluffy frosting. Alright everyone, so we are done eating lunch, and I actually went to today's afternoon food pantry. I don't remember when the last time I posted a food pantry haul. I don't know if it was 2 weeks ago or a month ago. I have no clue, but it's been a couple weeks. I know for sure that we've been to the afternoon pantry, so I decided to go today and just get a few things. So I'll show you that haul. And now I'm going to make the fluffy frosting for our angel food cake, and I can't wait to try this. I don't think I've ever actually had angel food cake. I don't ever remember having angel food cake. So I just made a boxed one, a box angel food cake mix, and now I'm making the fluffy frosting homemade. Alright, so, and keep in mind I am doubling this recipe because we don't know how much the original is going to make, and we want to make sure we have enough frosting for the cake. Okay, so the original recipe calls for 1 egg white. Again, doubling it, I have 2. And I've got some water on the stove waiting to come to a boil. So that's 2 egg whites. And the original calls for 1 cup of sugar. I am putting 2 in. I have all the ingredients measured out already. And then it calls for 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla. I'm putting in 1 teaspoon. And I'm using clear vanilla. And it calls for 1/4 teaspoon of cream of tartar, and I'm using 1/2 teaspoon. Alright, so we're just going to mix this, and then when the water's boiled, we'll add that in. So the water is done boiling, so I have 1 cup of boiling water. Original recipe was half a cup. And now I'm going to mix this on high for 5 to 7 minutes. All right, everyone, so I am done with this frosting. The recipe Glenn sent me said 5 to 7 minutes on high. And maybe that was for like a stand mixer, because it definitely wasn't for a hand mixer. It took me over 30 minutes to do this. And gradually you could see that it got thicker. I don't know if I need to do it more. I don't know. Drop it down in the comments if you ever made this. Should this be thicker? Should I keep on doing it more? But maybe, I don't know. I'll do it a little bit more and then we'll see what happens. All right, so stay tuned. Okay, I'm done. So it's got a spreadable consistency, but yeah. And I don't anticipate we're going to be using a lot on our piece of the cake because this is really sweet. Definitely would cut back on that sugar. This has 2 cups in it, and the original recipe called for 1. This is very sticky. It's much like a marshmallow. So yeah, it's very sticky. It's all over me. It's all over the cord for the mixer. It's all over my shirt. So yeah, I'm gonna wash up a little bit. We're gonna get this cake. I'll see if I'm going to frost the cake or just frost our individual pieces. All right, so yeah, I'll be right back. All right, so as you can see, there's a piece missing here. When I went to go turn it upside down and put it on a glass jar for cooling, a piece here fell off. So I think it was meant for me to taste. So I just tasted it. Yeah, so I'm gonna try to, I'm using just a plastic knife to cut the edges off. All right, let's see if we can, okay, came right out. And now we have to cut the bottom edge off. Whew. All right. So I'm just gonna go through on the bottom, loosen it up off there. This sure is a sticky cake and frosting. Really sticky. Alright, so now I'm going to just do the middle here, make sure it comes off. Okay, I guess I have to put a plate over it. Is that how I do it? Then take this off. All right, there we go. And there's our angel food cake. We have to taste the piece with the frosting though. I think that's in order. So I'm going to just cut a little piece off here. So spongy. All right. There's the cake. Let's put some frosting on it. I think I probably could have whipped that frosting a little bit longer. I don't know how firm it's supposed to get. So if you've done it, or if you know, drop it down in the comments. Alright, I'm going to take a bite. Okay. Very spongy, airy. But I think that's what it's supposed to be like. So yeah, it's not bad at all. I didn't put too much frosting on there, so I couldn't taste too much of it because I know it's super sweet. But Otherwise, I think it turned out okay. I'm going to take Glenn a piece so he can taste it. Now, the other side is actually the crispier side, so I don't know if I'm supposed to flip that over again. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, so I put a plate on it again, and then I flipped it back over to the top side. All right, now I'll be back. Alrighty, everyone. So I'm gonna sit down and enjoy a piece of this angel food cake. Just took Glenn some, made him some coffee, and again, I think the frosting I could have whipped up more to be a little more firm. But we'll just deal with that this time. So like I said, it's the first time I made both. So you learn by, I guess you learn by your experience, and I'll do it better next time. So I did go ahead and, I think I just showed you that, but I did go ahead and flip this cake over again so the original top is back on top. So it tastes good. There's nothing wrong with the taste. But yeah. Definitely less sugar in that. It's super sweet, but once you put it on the cake, some of the cake taste takes away the sweetness a little bit. So yeah, you can add food coloring to make this pink or whatever coloring you want, but we just decided to leave it white. All right, and also I read somewhere, ooh, a piece. It's easier to cut angel food cake with a serrated knife. So this is a bread knife, and it did cut it really smooth, so you're not squishing the cake together. But yeah, there is my first time angel food cake. Granted, this was from a box mix, but homemade fluffy frosting. So, all right, I'm going to go ahead and sit down, enjoy some cake, and sit down, just sit for a while and watch some TV. And then I will be back for the food pantry haul. Hey everyone, so Glenn and I are actually getting our fishing stuff ready because, what do you think next week, babe? Next week we are planning to go fishing. So this will be the first time in over a year, probably almost 2 years. Last year we didn't go at all. We didn't even get our fishing license last year. Well, Glenn did, and his only cost $7 because of his age. But my fishing license is $20 for the year. But if you really think about it, $20 is cheap entertainment. Plus, you got to buy your bait, though, if you use bait. So we're actually just getting our fishing line ready. And we just changed the line on a couple of poles. Now, for any of you who know anything about pan fishing, we are big into pan fishing, and we are using 2-pound test right now, which is very light fishing line, and you really have to work the fish. Even a big bluegill, you have to work it on this line, otherwise it will break it off. So, yeah, we are using ultralight rod and reels. This here, I'm using St. Croix. I call it the shorty because it's short, but it's very flexible. And yeah, we're using small rod and reels. We love pan fishing. We do catch other fish too. So I'm trying to cut my, this is, I don't know if you could see this line here, this orange line I'm playing with. That's called a bobber stop. And unlike the old style of bobbers, those red and white round ones or other ones that you clip on, and you have to have, however deep you're fishing, you have to have all that line out when you cast. We do slip bobbers. You can see it's just slipping through my line. And with this kind of a bobber setup, you don't have to leave any slack out to cast it. You can reel it all the way to the tip and cast it out like that. So that's an advantage of that. And this is the bobber stop. And then there's a red bead here. I don't know if you could see that. That's a the bead so that the tip of this bobber doesn't go through this string, the bobber stop. The bead stops it, and then however deep you want to fish, it'll just slide down the line until it gets to that depth, and then just start floating like that. So I'm just cutting some string. What's that?
You can go 100 feet down and only have a foot of line though.
Yeah. So yeah, if you're fishing 25 feet deep on an old style bobber where you clip it on, you'd have to have 25 feet of slack behind you to cast it out. With this style slip bobber, you don't have to have any slack out, and once it reaches the spot you cast it to, it'll just slide until it reaches the depth you have it at, and then you're fishing 25 feet down. So now this bobber stop is just a string, and over time it starts to loosen up, and you have to tighten it up. So when you cut it, you want to cut off all this slack. I'm giving you a fishing lesson. When you cut it, you want to leave a little tag so that if it loosens up, you could just grab onto it with your teeth or something and then pull it, or with some needle nose and pull one side and to tighten it up. So if you could see it there, that's my bobber stop. And I'm actually all set up here. I just changed the line on two of our rods, rod and reels. And then you have a split shot, which is used to drag your line down. When you cast it out, it basically helps. It's a weight basically, and it helps your whatever you have on the end of your line, bait or a jig or something, it helps it go down. So I have just a micro jig. If you can see that, Glenn actually made this. We have a whole thing that Glenn made. Actually, let me go grab it so you can see. He made a whole bunch of these for us. And this little Victorinox, what's it called? Victorinox knife is very handy to have as a angler because it's got scissors. If you have to redo your line, you can just use these to cut your scissors. Carries a toothpick, a little knife. Yeah, like this is a little toothpick. We don't use that though. We just keep them in there. I have a pink one that's in the tackle box. Let me show you some stuff that Glenn made. All right, so I'm going to kind of reel up this line here because it's ready to go. Yeah, we're pretty excited about going fishing. All right, just to show you my rod and reel. This is a St. Croix. You can see how skinny it is. That's pretty much micro light. And this reel is pretty small too. We got these years ago. But you'll hear more fishing stories as we go along. Let me go grab some stuff to show you that Glenn made. Okay, so first I'm going to show you this. He made every single thing in these cases. This was about 4 years ago. Back 4 years ago, his hands and his eyesight were much better. Now his hands, he shakes a lot. But look at this. These are all like little flies and things like that, spiders. So I'll show you that. Yep, he made all of these. And that orange thing I have on mine, he made that. But pretty impressive. All these little jig heads with shiny stuff. And he made these. Yeah, he used to make a lot of stuff. And we thought about like having to make stuff and selling it, but unfortunately, like fishing stuff like this, you get pennies on the dime, honestly, if you try to resell it. you put all that work into it, the labor and the time to make them, and you really don't make anything in return. So he bought a bunch for us. So this is actually worms and stuff. He didn't make these, but this is some of our stuff we use. We've got jig heads in here, and just worms, different type of worms, glow worms, different colors. So this is some of our fishing stuff, and yeah, different worms for different fish, different colors for different fish, depending on what they're biting on that time. So yeah, and he has a little tackle box that fits in his basket for his scooter that we basically have everything in there we need for fishing, so we just both fish out of that. And yeah, panfish is mainly what we fish for, and
Well, the white bass we used to when I made up all the fries.
yeah, I was just going to say that we used to fish for white bass also, and that came in the spring and the early fall. And he made up a bunch of big flies for that as well, because I used to lose them all. When we went fishing for white bass, we went in rocky areas, and I always got my fly caught, and then I would lose them. So he said, I'm just going to start making them. It'll be cheaper. So he made a bunch of those. Those are in the truck, though. I can't show you those. But
well, they were about $1.50 a piece.
yeah, they were $1.50 a piece, and I would lose them like crazy. And it just got too expensive, so he just bought a bunch of stuff and started making them. But yeah, this was, when I first got here, this was our life, fishing. He would come home from work, and I'd be waiting at the door with the cooler, let's go fishing. And then when he wasn't working anymore and I was, we'd drive an hour north to Oshkosh and go fishing, then drive an hour back. And I actually had to get up for work the next day. It was crazy.
We
But
did that every day.
yep, every single day we did that, but we had the time of our lives. We wouldn't change a thing. So yeah, I actually got Glenn into pan fishing because I used to fish in California too. When I lived in California, I fished inland lakes for trout, catfish, bluegill, bass, crappie, everything. And then, but I also fished the ocean. When I lived in Oceanside, California, we used to go to the pier and fish there. So the smaller pier by the marina. So yeah, I fished quite a bit. And when I got here, when we met online, he only fished for muskie and things like that, big fish. And yeah. And when I got here, I got him into pan fishing, and he has not gone back to muskie. He loves pan fishing now. So, but there'll be more fishing stories as we go fishing, and yeah, we're hoping this is going to be our summer to get out and be outside and fishing and camping, and we're hoping that's going to be our summer. So. Alrighty, so I just wanted to share that little bit of fishing time with you. Alright everyone, so here is our food pantry haul. And again, I don't remember when the last time I posted a food pantry haul, so I don't think it would be too bad if we went once or twice a month. So we went this week. We didn't go last week, and I don't remember if we went the week before. So even for the morning food pantry that I used to go to, I may go like once or twice a month. That's it. So let me show you what we got. All right, we'll start off over here. We got our weekly roll of toilet paper, and we got some Asadero shredded cheese. We got a family size box of Raisin Bran. Got a half gallon of milk, which came at a good time because the last half gallon we had in there, I drank it all myself. All right, we got a box of Girl Scout cookies. These are the Tagalongs, which is the chocolate covered peanut butter. It's chocolate covered and it's got peanut butter and chocolate, I think, inside, and a wafer cookie. So we got a box of those. I picked up, I haven't been picking up any canned goods, but I did pick up a couple this time, wax beans. These are pretty expensive in the store, and Glenn likes these, and I don't know if we have one or we're out completely. So I saw those and I figured I'd pick those up for Glenn. And picked up a can of pumpkin because I just like to make pumpkin desserts. And 2 small cans of Starkiss albacore tuna. They're both albacore tuna. One is solid white, one is chunked white. I think the chunk white is a little more flaky, I think. Yeah, I know the solid white is like solid pieces. So both are albacore tuna though. But you put 2 together and we can have a lunch. And then we got this pack of cheese and pretzels. So you see the back, some pretzel sticks with some cheese dip. And for produce, I chose for us this week some potatoes. So we got 4 potatoes. We got 1 cucumber. And we did just originally get 1 bag of carrots, but the kind lady there threw another bag in for us, so that was so nice of her. So we got 2 bags of carrots. And then for our meat this week, I chose a pound of ground beef for us. So it was a pretty good pantry haul. Stuff that we're out of and stuff that we're low on. So that is our food pantry haul for this week. And again, I don't know if I'll go next week. Maybe I'll go to the morning one next week. I don't know. Or I don't know if I'll go to any of them. But it all depends on how we're doing and how our, how our freezer and our cupboards look. So, but I think we're okay right now. So that is the food pantry haul for this week. And I think that's going to be it for this video. For supper, we're just eating leftovers, the Polish sausage and kraut. So I'm going to go ahead and close the video out here so I can get it out a little bit earlier. Hopefully, maybe not, because I'm going to do something else after this. And but I want to thank you all for taking time out of your day to watch my videos. I appreciate all of you and the support you give this channel. And with that, remember to live life, be good to yourself, and be good to others. Until next time.